Well, Taiwan's military is simulating its response to a possible Chinese invasion of the self-governing island, and it follows Chinese war games that have been staged around Taiwan. China sees the island as a breakaway province. DW's Rick Glauert joined Taiwanese military units, which are on a permanent state of alert.
Taiwan's military is showing off its combat readiness ahead of the Lunar New Year holidays, a show of force meant to reassure the public. These drills may be routine, but the threat Taiwan is facing is constantly evolving. China has been stepping up its pressure on the self-ruled democracy it claims as part of its territory.
The enemy threats we face today are clearly more serious than they were 10 years ago. We must accelerate our military build-up and preparedness. Otherwise, we'll find it difficult to ensure national security.
Any conflict here would have consequences far beyond this region. Just weeks ago, China conducted large-scale military exercises around Taiwan, rehearsing blockade scenarios and firing rockets into nearby waters, raising concerns about global shipping routes and critical technology supply chains. Many of these troops were deployed to monitor and ward off Chinese boats and planes. Beijing says it was punishing a government in Taiwan it labels as separatists. Taiwan rejects China's claims over the island and says it is facing a growing campaign of psychological and military pressure. Here on Taiwan's coast, Taiwan's Navy is practicing quickly responding to any incursion into Taiwan's waters. It's a response that increasingly involves unmanned systems, including air and sea drones. Taiwan says systems like this are integral to the island's defences and deterring Beijing. It wants to buy tens of thousands of drones through a special military budget worth $40 billion. But that's military spending that is currently being held up by local politics. Opposition parties, who between them have a majority in Taiwan's legislature, are resisting the defence package, arguing for stricter oversight and a different approach to managing relations with China. It reflects a schism in Taiwan society.
We see there's a trend that people who are willing to fight becoming more willing to fight. However, there are more and more people, they think that the war is too costly, so they want to avoid the war. And they tend to believe that the best way to avoid war is to negotiate. So that the public opinion become divided.
The displays this week show a Taiwanese military determined to stand up to China, even if it's outnumbered and outgunned. The government here says Beijing is deliberately blurring the lines between war and peace, at a strategic fault line where miscalculation would be felt far beyond Taiwan. For Taiwan soldiers, that means staying on watch through the Lunar New Year holidays and beyond, in what may well be a long battle of attrition and endurance.
Well, I want to bring in now Rorry Daniels. She's the managing director of Asia Society Policy Institute, with a particular focus on cross-Taiwan Strait relations. It's good to have you on the program tonight. Let me ask you, are we looking at a David and Goliath here? I mean, is there any way that Taiwan realistically could repel a Chinese invasion?
I mean, I think the experience of Ukraine shows that when civil preparedness is high and commitment is high, that yes, you can have a David repel a Goliath type of invasion. An invasion in Taiwan would actually be military and logistically quite complicated. And even though the PLA, the Chinese military, has continuously advanced military drills toward that end, I don't think that they have high confidence that they can achieve a successful sea-based invasion. So there's still time for Taiwan to develop the military preparedness, the correct weapon systems to fight asymmetrically, and that's exactly what Taiwan is trying to do.
There are reports that Xi Jinping has purged much of the military's leadership in China. What does that mean, if anything, for China's ability to carry out a successful invasion of Taiwan by, let's say, by the end of this decade? Has it handicapped itself?
I think for the moment it's severely handicapped itself. In a Taiwan contingency, you would want your military, if you were in Beijing, to have a really strict command and control, high trust among different branches of the government, and the military in communications with each other. And that's simply not the case right now, with most of the military commission now purged. And I think, but the question, the strategic question moving forward is, are these purges setting up the command and control structure in place where you do have that high level of trust, transparency, and coordination? So time will tell on the personnel appointments for people coming in, and that'll tell us a lot more about PLA readiness to conduct a contingency.
Briefly, if you will, do you think that the Taiwan needs, are they in a position to negotiate a peace with China? I mean, there are people in Taiwan who say they would rather talk than fight.
Of course. I mean, talking is always preferable to fighting. But no, I do not think that the current state of cross-strait relations lends itself to a successful negotiation. Right now, the authorities on both sides are not talking to each other. Beijing has evinced no willingness whatsoever to deal with the DPP government, which it sees as separatist. So there would have to be a change in political leadership in Taiwan. And even then, this would be a very, very difficult negotiation to have, so that Taiwan could protect its interests, perhaps preserve its autonomy for some time, without being led down a path-dependent structure to which it is absorbed by the mainland.
Rorry Daniels, Managing Director of Asia Society Policy Institute, we appreciate your time and your insights tonight. Thank you.
My pleasure.